Welcome to the Cox Community Spotlight, highlighting healthy, active lifestyles on the Gulf Coast.
Well, we do our grocery store tours at Publix in Destin, and what we do is we go around and teach people how to read labels and really just empower them with the knowledge, because it's so overwhelming when you go to the store and you're looking, do I get low fat, do I get low sodium, do I get low calorie? There's so many different options, and the market out there bombards you. So my goal is to just provide the information, and then people can make their own decisions, but at least they're knowing what they're choosing.
All right, girls, so what I want you to do is you're gonna have 2 minutes to go through the grocery store and find things that you eat on a daily basis or that you have questions about if you've always wondered if it's healthy or not healthy. And we're gonna meet back here and I'm gonna teach you how to really read a label so you know what you're doing, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll see you back here in a minute. Go get them. Right, you girls got some good stuff. Before we discuss what's in your basket, let me just give you a couple pointers of when you get to the grocery store, some things to remember. First thing is, don't ever come to the grocery store hungry. If you've ever done that, you know what I mean. Your tummy is growling and you'll grab whatever you can get your hands on. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is try to stay on the perimeter of the store. That's where the main ingredients, your fresh items, your fruits, your vegetables, you want to eat as fresh and green as possible and try to stay away from processed foods. So those are just 2 basic tips to remember. Now, let's dig in and see what your girls brought back to me.
Raisin Bran. Seems healthy, right?
Okay. Well,
it has bran in the title.
Let's look at it. Raisin Bran. A lot of people think that's healthy because it says full of fiber. So one of the things I want you to learn when you're looking at different items is to read deeper than what the front of the box says. So we want to turn it and really read into the label, okay? Main thing with cereals that you need to look at is the sugar content, okay? Let's go right to sugar here, and the sugars here are 19 grams.
Wow.
Okay,
yeah.
That's pretty high. Now our brains don't often think of grams, so just to let you know, there's 4 grams of sugar in each teaspoon. So you would take 19 and divide it by 4, well that's almost 5 teaspoons of sugar per 1 cup. So think of literally dishing out
Could
5
have Fruit Loops
teaspoons.
or something.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not any better.
Yes, so instead of that, now I was following you girls, kind of seeing what you were getting, and I went through and chose some healthier options.
Good.
So let's see what I got instead of that. Better option is going to be your shredded wheat. Okay, now the reason I say that, we turn to the side and we go right to sugar. There's 0 grams of sugar in here. And you're also still getting your fiber. That's trying to sell you on getting your fiber. This still has 6 grams of fiber per serving. So you're going to be much better off with this option and not spiking your blood sugar at the beginning of the day. And that way you're going to start your morning off right. Add some fresh fruit to this. Perfect morning. Okay? What else do we got here?
I got ground turkey. I usually use this when I'm cooking spaghetti instead of ground beef.
Okay.
So I wanted you to check that out.
So you want to know what's better, ground turkey or ground beef?
Should I use the lean ground beef?
Okay, well, looking on here, again, we want to flip it over, always go to the back and read the label. So here it's showing 240 calories per serving in a 4-ounce serving, okay? The key with this is the calories from fat is 150, okay? So that's almost 60, a little over 60% fat. Do you think, well, ground turkey is supposed to be better? Well, the better option is ground turkey breast.
Oh, there's a difference?
Yeah, the key is the breast. So that's just all the white meat. So that's going to tremendously cut down on your amount of fat. Let's look. Now, instead of 240 calories, it's 120 calories and only 5 grams of fat from the calories. Okay. So much better option to go.
So it's a little bit more expensive, but it looks like it would be
Exactly. So good question.
Okay, thank you.
All right, looks like you have one more thing in your basket.
Yeah, I had one of these for
What
breakfast.
You had one of these for
They're
breakfast
so easy.
this
Grab
morning.
them, give them to my kids.
She's telling the truth. Let's see how she did here.
It says grain.
So, yes, it says more whole grains made with real fruit, okay? So this is, you're right, this is easy to grab on the go. So remember, we want to go straight to our label and look at the real facts. So it's 130 calories, not bad for a bar. Now let's look at the sugars, because the sugars are what's hiding here. 12 grams. So after what we learned, how many teaspoons is that?
3 teaspoons of sugar.
3 teaspoons of sugar in a small bar. For breakfast. And again, that's going to spike your blood sugar, leaving you to crash in a little bit. This also only has 2 grams of protein, so we'd want to get something with a little bit more protein to stick with you. So instead of this, a better option are these Kashi bars. So it's still convenient, you can still grab and go. Now the main thing here, it's about the same amount of calories. This has 10 more calories, but it only has 5 grams of sugar versus your 12. So, and it also has 7 grams of protein versus your 2. So this is a much better option to grab and go.
Yeah, they have a lot of different varieties.
A lot of different varieties. So, okay, so good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Cindy, let's see what you got here.
First thing I have is tea, green tea. It's really good for you.
All right, because of the pomegranate and the green tea. Yes. So you look at this, lots of antioxidants, but let's read the back of the label and see what we're dealing with here. The first thing that jumps out at me is, remember, we always want to look at the serving size. Well, this serving size is 8 ounces. Well, there's 2.5 servings in this, okay? So we need to keep that in mind as we're reading. So I'm glancing down here, and the sugars per serving is 18 grams. Per serving. So if we drank this whole thing, that would be what? Almost 45 grams of sugar.
Wow.
So we divide that by 4. That's 11 teaspoons of sugar into this. So keep that in mind, okay?
Well, I got a better choice then. I have the diet.
So the diet, okay? Now, this brings up a good point with diet and sugar substitutes. You see on here Splenda, okay? The problem with Splenda is that it's artificial sweetener, okay? The main thing with that is that's a toxin we're putting in our body, and it clogs our liver. And our liver's main function is to process all the nutrients that we put in our body. Well, if we're clogging it up with toxins of artificial sugars, then our body can't process it, which is going to cause us to hold on to weight. And a lot of people don't realize that. That is key. So try to stay away from artificially flavored.
Sweet and low, same thing. Anything used in the diet sodas?
Absolutely. All the diet sodas, anything like that. So instead of that, you can still get your antioxidants to go. This is just simple green tea. All that's in it is green tea. There's no sugar, no nothing. So that's a good alternative to grab and go. And of course, your water. You can't beat water. It's so good for you. Make sure you're getting at least 64 ounces of water a day. Okay, what else we got?
Yogurt.
Yogurt. All right. Now a lot of people, yogurt's a great thing. Again, convenience. We're constantly on the go, so you want a convenient option. This is 99% fat-free, so let's dig deeper. So it does only have 1.5 grams of fat in there, but the sugars, 27 grams of sugar in this one little teeny cup. Okay, so again, we want to divide that by 4. You're talking a lot of sugar in the small.
Low-fat yogurt.
So dig deep, especially with yogurt. I have an awesome alternative here for yogurt, and that is this Greek yogurt, okay? The fat-free Greek yogurt. It's delicious. It's nice and thick and creamy. When you look at this, you realize there's only 7 grams of sugar versus the 27. So right there, you're cutting your sugar way down. The other thing is it has 18 grams of protein, and this one only has 5 grams of protein. So you're getting better here all the way around, okay? All right, let's look at the last thing. Oh, yes.
Excuse me, that's probably not very sweet because it's just plain yogurt.
Correct.
So would you put granola in it or honey?
What I would recommend, and I actually do this, I put just a little dab of honey and then fresh fruit. Cut up some strawberries and blueberries. You're getting good antioxidants in there. And grape nuts is a great alternative instead of granola.
Okay.
That cuts down on the fat and still gives you that crunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe almonds.
Good question. Almonds. Yeah. Anything like that you can put up in here. It's a great snack. It's very satisfying too.
the last thing I got was butter.
Okay.
And this is healthy
Good
heart.
question. Yes, I never know what to do about butter.
Okay, good questions here. So you notice it says 0 trans fat, okay? So main thing when you see 0 trans fat, again, you gotta go back to the label. Now, here it's not gonna tell you, it still says 0 trans fat, but you gotta dig deeper into the ingredients, okay? Now, the ingredients here are partially hydrogenated soybean oil. Partially hydrogenated oils is the same thing as trans fats, okay? And you ask, well, how can they get away with that? They're tricking us. Well, if it's less than a half a gram per serving, they can say it has 0, okay? So, but let's think about this. If you use a tablespoon in the morning on your toast, you use a tablespoon with your baked potato at lunch, and you use 2 tablespoons at dinner with your bread and your veggies, that's way more than a serving. So you are getting a lot of trans fats. Also with this, there's a lot of words here I don't even know how to pronounce. You know, if you can try diglycerides, you know, all sorts of things. If your tongue has to do gymnastics to say what's in a product, you probably shouldn't be putting it in your body. So instead of this, I recommend just good old-fashioned butter. Just use it in moderation. Because when you look at the ingredients, you've got sweet cream and salt. I can pronounce both of those things with no problem, and they're pure ingredients. So that pretty much sums up everything that we discussed.
What about cooking spray, Colleen? Like Pam or something
Good
like
idea. I get that question a lot. You want to cook with olive oil, and Pam is a great substitute for that. The key with Pam is that it says fat-free cooking on there, but the spray is 1/3 of a second is the serving. Well, whoever does 1/3 of a second when you do the spray? No, most people say, oh, it's fat-free, so they're going to coat and coat and coat. So yes, it's a good option. You just need to be aware of, again, the serving size and know what you're dealing with. So, good job, girls. Did you learn something new today?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Awesome. Way to go.